Welcome from my side to the third National Digital Transformation Conference in Iran. Thank you so much for having me. In my keynote, I'm going to discuss some of the key success factors of digital transformation which I have seen. Well, who am I? I'm basically Stefan Diefenbacher. I'm a global thought leader in the space of innovation and digital transformation. I have written a key book on it, which we are going to discuss in a bit, and have led some of the key digital transformation initiatives across the world, having lived actually across 14 countries, today actually living in Zurich in Switzerland. The book, which we have authored together, so there have been 60 direct contributors and over 200 people giving input and feedback to it, is titled How to Create Innovation, became somewhat of a global bestseller, translated currently into a whole number of languages, originally coming out of an open source movement. Actually, we did 5 years of research into the key success factors of innovation and digital transformation. So we systematically actually identified 75 pain points innovators and transformators were facing, and we systematically tried to overcome these. So today it's going to be highly exciting. I'll be sharing some of these. And to start with, and perhaps a little bit of an introduction, there is a growing need of change out there. So what we're seeing here in this chart, we see the S&P 500, so one of the largest stock indices globally. And we can observe how long the corporate life expectancy actually was over the last almost century. So corporates used to live for up to 100 years within that stock index. And that now the trend is falling and falling. We're getting closer to 10 years only. That means corporates around the globe are actually dying at a pace we have never seen before. And the reason for that is, well, it's disruption. We're getting systematically disrupted by technology. We see exponentially accelerating change at drastically decreasing price points, and the mightiness of those technologies is heavily increasing, and they are merging for the first time. So we see robots operating in blackout factories where 3D printing. So for the first time, we see a merger of those technologies that will further accelerate change. You take a little bit of a historical perspective, from the cradle of humanity, first wave of agrarian culture. Second, we had the industrial culture coming back a couple of centuries ago. Now information culture. So what we can notice is the disruptions are getting faster and faster. Now we are actually moving into an age which is all about smartification, third information revolution. Industrial revolution is already something which is far behind us. Perhaps as a first important statement, people often think digital transformation is all about technology. And while it is right, it has to do with technology. It goes definitely, the disruption goes far beyond, and the change required goes far beyond. As we reinvent ourselves, we need to develop new value structures, new value propositions, new value change. Our entire business models and business strategies, ecosystems have to change. The way we produce that value is changing. So we are required to develop new cultures, new ways of staffing our project, new ways of engaging with customers, providing new experiences. And to do all that, well, we obviously need new processes and structures. A first critical point is the 3 horizons of growth. And the 3 horizons of growth is probably the number one failure why organizations fail with their innovation and transformation initiatives. So an organization can grow either by executing, improving, here in Horizon 1, by transforming itself, and a transformation by definition is a step change to one part of a business model, or by innovating. And innovating attention is always radical in nature. So innovation is not a bit of a change, it's a radical change. So, and the next question is, well, how much do you need to change? Yeah? And if you look basically at the level of organizational change, and here we have the market changes. So if the market change is low, then you're totally fine to continue doing what you need to do. You just need to employ some incremental changes in Horizon 1, so make those limited adjustments to continuously improve. However, if the market is changing in more drastic ways, well, then you need to go for a digital transformation, a step change to one part of your business model. But if the market is very drastically changing, well, then your level of organizational change needs to be even higher. Then you need to go, then even a transformation is not enough, then you need to go for radical innovation. Now, how much is enough? You definitely, in essence, want to stay in the green zone. If you're in the red zone, which means you're changing slower than the market, then you're certain you'll sooner or later hit the wall and will die as an organization. So you need and want to be changing faster than the market, or at least in line with the market. And I'm sorry for this table, but you really have to get this. So here is a breakdown of those 3 horizons of growth: improve Horizon 1, transform Horizon 2, innovate Horizon 3. And let me contrast those just a little bit so we all understand what this is all about. So as you continuously improve and execute, you're working on the core business inside the organization, you're exploiting current resources and capabilities. Your approach is one of execution. It's very much incremental and sustaining. The business model is known. You know it by heart, of course, because it's your current business model. Now, if you innovate, you are by definition outside of the organization. Actually, when you transform, you're at least temporarily outside. You should be temporarily outside as well. Your purpose is to create new avenues of growth, and you're in the search of radically new business models. And you're in the unknown because you're in the search. Your strategic intent in Horizon 1 is to reduce costs and increase profits. The core competency is therefore an operational one, and your culture is one of efficiency, low risk, and error prevention. When you want to innovate, however, innovation, entrepreneurial is a core competency. You're looking for breakthroughs. The expected risk in Horizon 1 is low, the reward as well. When you transform, you have higher risk, you moderate risk, medium returns, and as you innovate, it's high. This is just the way of thinking. Now, basically, we offer download packages which provide the complete way how this is actually operationalized. And I think this is my core message, so pay attention for a second. Regardless if you look into organizational structures, into the way you approach marketing, how you gain feedback, how you measure success, your business model setup, how you do procurement, how you do technology, regardless of which topic you're looking into, it is very different as you move from improvement to transformation to innovation. The number one issue why innovators and transformators fail is they fail in not having the right kind of setup and structure to manage a transformation and an innovation successfully. A second key topic is understanding your customer needs. So I think you have a fair understanding of me by now. I've been talking for a couple of minutes, so I have a very simple question. The question is, where will I go out for dinner tonight? Will I be going out to the nice bar, or will I be going out to a formal dining place? And I guess the question is hard, so you may not know it yet. So let me present you some additional information. So I'm speaking. So here basically you see a persona, And a persona is a typical representative of a customer segment. And customer segments are critical for everything we have always been doing. We have been innovating for certain customer segments. We have been using those customer segments as a basis for our marketing. Yeah? We have been leveraging those segments as a basis for our product development. So we have been building products for those certain segments. So everything we have been doing has always been very segment specific. So imagine, now you got a whole lot of more information about me. Imagine if all the information in the world about me. So let me repeat my question is, where am I going tonight? Am I going for the nice bar or for the formal dining place? And the challenge, I mean, you're still not in a position to answer that question. So let me give you just one single additional information. Yeah? So tonight, I'm back in Paris after a decade, and I'm going out with my students where we have been studying together 10 years ago. So I'm meeting back with my former teammates. And now I think it's relatively obvious that most likely, while these guys are going to go for the nice bars because they have something to celebrate. And I guess the shift we have to make is we need to move away from segments. What counts is what is the important but unmet customer need. And you immediately understood that customer need when I said, oh, yeah, this guy wants to hang out with his student colleagues from 10 years ago. That is the customer need. And we need to understand how which customer important but unmet customer needs we're addressing. And segmentation does not provide the answer. So as you go back to your offices tomorrow, ask yourself, do you have an understanding of your important but unmet customer needs? Because if you don't have that, you have limited chances at identifying the reasons where you want to be going with your innovation or digital transformation. Another topic is, well, innovation transformation. Clearly, I mean, we like to believe we are successful. The brutal reality is that 72% of all digital transformation projects fail to deliver on time and budget and on value. This has enormous consequences in terms of economic and productivity losses of 3 trillion. 45% run over budget, 70% are behind schedule, 56% deliver less functionality than anticipated. We have to change our ways. And what that means is, well, we have to consider where we are starting and what we are actually changing as part of a digital transformation. That is the next story I want to briefly tell. So here we see a business model canvas. And for the sake of illustrating and bringing another war story in, here we are looking at a digital transformation. And in this case, the firm that is changing, what is the firm changing? Well, they are changing to another distribution channel. So here is their transformation. As I mentioned earlier, a digital transformation is about changing one aspect of your business model. So what these guys are doing is they are selling directly to the consumer online instead of through a distributor network. So imagine a bank that doesn't go through its channels anymore, or insurance providers through its partner network, but is selling directly online. And what is happening as they change that channel? Well, they need to change the customer relationships because now they must directly engage. Perhaps they need a new brand. Why would they need a new brand? Well, because customers may expect a different price point, because there may be competition with the existing partner network, which is still selling online. Now, the service model obviously has to change because customers need to be served directly and online, because we don't have a distributor network anymore. Since we are selling online, the value proposition probably has to be reduced and simplified, because you can't sell a highly complex product online or a product which needs configuration. So likely the value proposition has to be changed. Now, since it's sold online and since the value proposition has been reduced for a simplified product, well, the revenue model, so the pricing of the transformation of what you're selling basically is reducing. So you have to reduce your pricing. The other components of the business model change as well, but in this case they change somewhat less. The key story I want to tell here is, as you do that transformation and are changing one key aspect of your business model, all other aspects of your business model will have to adapt and change in function of the very change you're executing. That is what typically goes wrong. We like to believe that we just have to change the channel and then are wondering why it doesn't work and why we're driving into that wall. Yeah? And the failure organizations make is they're failing to adjust everything in function of that very change. And what we should be doing instead is taking the transformation out of the house, actually very similar to an innovation initiative, configuring and reconfiguring the entire business model and operating model harmoniously so it works harmoniously again. And only once we have achieved a harmoniously working setup of our business model and operating model, then are we doing the true transformation. The true transformation is bringing the change back from outside to inside the organization through an effort of change management. This is where innovation transformation, by the way, differ. Apart from that, they're very similar. We take them out of the building, build an MVP, work hard till it's properly and harmoniously configured, and then we bring it back through an effort of change management. Now, basically, you can deep dive from the business model to an operating model. Yeah? And if we zoom in here, the core value chain is what is most important. How do we drive value as we are transforming? And that value chain is changing. This is what I would invite you to look deeper at. But most importantly, what organizations are missing is really detailing it out. So here is yet another Unite model, in this case, the Unite approach to value stream mapping. And I think organizations are relatively familiar by now with the term customer journey. So here we see such customer journey or such customer actions. So they visit a website, a branch, discuss a loan. So I think it's a banking example. They apply for a loan, then sign for a loan to finance their future house, for example. Yeah. But importantly, what you can achieve with that approach to value stream mapping is you align the entire business to that target customer stream, to that target customer journey. So you map out your customer journey first, but then you importantly consider what are the on-stage actions, the backstage actions, what are the supporting processes, what are the machines, software, tools, data, and document, and last but not least, which colleagues, which teams are involved. Normally, a business has one or two, maximum three core value streams. Aligning that in that way, is the core, what needs to be done in a digital transformation to achieve that target setup where again, which is optimized, obviously, but where everything again is working back together in a harmonious way. So you look into your business model to start with, you detail out your operating model, and you zoom into the core aspect, the value creation of your operating model with the help of a value stream map. This is what you have to do as you design your digital transformation. Importantly, we have in general to think in a much more integrative way. People get stuck with their business model canvas, and what I would like to invite you is to think of a much more holistic picture. And what you see here in front of yourself is the very first business model framework. Choose any aspect of your business model and zoom into where you need to be going. Zoom into the value proposition. Zoom into important but unmet customer needs, what I discussed earlier. Zoom into strategic patterns, how you can change your business model. Zoom into your operating model, what we just did, and from there you zoom to your value proposition. Another topic is, what is the team actually executing everything? So zoom into your team structure and operating model and organizational structure. And the next topic I want to discuss, well, zoom into your culture, because it is a critical one. And I think we have always been taught that it takes one culture in an enterprise or large organization. But actually, a culture of innovation is clearly not the same in Horizon 3, what I discussed at the beginning. It's clearly not the same as a culture of error-free production in Horizon 1. So a culture cannot remain the same across the 3 horizons, because in Horizon 1, it's about error-free production, it's about stability. In Horizon 2, it's about change, and in Horizon 3, attention, innovation becomes even radical, which means a one culture doesn't work anymore. To address that challenge, I mean, everybody's talking about that culture eats strategy for breakfast, yeah? and everybody can agree on it, but what are actually the key components of culture? And I guess as part of our research, with a team of 50 people, close to 50 people, we have been debating for over a year what culture actually is. And we have been identifying the key building blocks of culture and map those out on a strategic culture canvas for the very first time. At the center of culture is mindset. Mindset impregnates how we view the world, through which frame we view the world. Next, we have leadership here on top. Yeah? So how do we lead? How do we communicate? How do we make decisions? The bottom, we have everything about keep our people. Yeah? So how do we hire for cultural fit? How do we align teams? How do we recognize and reward those teams? On the left, we have meaning. So what is the purpose we are following? Why do we do what we do? Why do we get up in the morning? And what are the values? That is the soft part of culture, or the supposedly soft part, but even that you can measure. And on the right part, we have the hard part of culture, which is what organizations typically like to work on because it's more visible, which are the structures and processes and the working environments. This is why we see so many colorful offices, why we see ping pong tables being rolled out or other funny things, which may support culture change, obviously, yeah. But I guess the major building blocks are, as we have seen, somewhere else. So you can use this canvas to lay out your current culture, and you can, working with your team in a couple of post-it notes, strategically design your target culture. And again, be invited to download on our website the culture models in details, because we bring variations of that canvas aligned to innovation and transformation. So how does your culture need to be changing? For innovation transformation, we offer you the blueprints. Here is another key learning out of that book in our research. So here you see the 5 key evolutionary developments across people, culture, organization, economy. And at the bottom we see the economy, which we briefly discussed at the beginning. The waves of change, agrarian culture, industrial culture, information culture, where we are today now, moving slowly into holistic culture. And interestingly, if you look at organizational development, we used to be in very steep organizational pyramids. What happened is those pyramids got flatter, but it's still fundamentally the same paradigm. We're still operating today. That is Industry 3.0. Yeah? Most organizations still operate by far most operate still in a pyramid. And only with Industry 4.0, well, the pyramid slowly shifts and eventually becomes a circular organizational structure. Similar culture development. So at some point in time, we integrated reason, and most organizations are stuck when it comes to emotions. Yeah. As we move into a multi-perspective and systemic world, we want to integrate, bring our whole self to the world. Because as we move from cooperation, where we debate, to co-creation, dialogue, we need the whole human being there. So I can't discuss it in depth and all aspects of it, but basically, this is a maturity model, and it starts in the early days of organizational development, team development, and personal development. Culture change starts with you, actually. Yeah, nobody else. It starts with you. Yeah, and this is a maturity model. Starts from a small child to a group-centric culture, to skill-centric, to self-determination. Now it's everything about status, to a multi-perspective, and ultimately systemic world. And so we have to understand it's the same level of maturity as a child or person goes through, as a team goes through, as an organizational structure evolves. And as we move into an information culture, and holistic culture, we need to change our ways, how we are structured as teams, how we behave as human beings, and who we are, yeah, our self-identification of human beings, etc. So culture change starts with yourself. Think about who you are today, how you operate, and it's going to be a journey with living and integrating. Last topic I want to briefly mention is where to create value and what to focus on. So interestingly, 80% of an organization's capabilities and processes are the non-core. This is where we want to standardize and cut costs. Yeah? Only 15% is industry specific. So 80% is not even industry specific, only 15% is. And in the core areas of an organization, think also capabilities and processes. You're not better, but you're battling head to head with your competitors. Only with 2 to 5% of your organization are you truly differentiating. These are your differentiating areas. This is where you're better than your competition. And these map to distinct business and IT strategies. So in the 80% of your capabilities and processes are non-core, yeah, and therefore the strategic importance and potential is low. The business strategy is cost-driven. So this is why we want to standardize. This is where we want to align to standard practice, which are often called best practice. But there is no such thing as a best practice. As everybody is moving to a best practice, it becomes a standard practice. It's a way of achieving operational excellence. We want to standardize. And therefore, from an IT perspective, we are moving to standard software such as software as a service. We avoid customization wherever possible. This is why any SAP implementation fails. And we consider outsourcing because this is not going to make a difference. We want to focus, however, our innovation and transformation efforts in these areas, in the core areas, in particularly the differentiating areas. This is where we want to innovate with everything we got and improve our performance across the business. Now, assuming we can agree thus far that 80% is non-core, it doesn't matter how you do marketing, how you do finance, even HR, even most aspects of production are non-core. They're typically not industry specific. We want to strengthen those 20% which are core, and particularly those ones which are where we are differentiating. So how do we identify that? And there are 3 ways of doing that. The easiest way to identify which is non-core, core, and differentiating is looking into a capability map. And I mean, here is a very high level one. We got much deeper ones. Just to pick one example where we differentiate at Digital Leadership, the consultancy, which I'm the founder of, is we are clearly differentiating with our proprietary knowledge and IP. This is what we specialize in. This is what we're proud of. This is what makes a difference to our customers. This is why our customers love us. This is how we are differentiating. So as you go back to your offices tomorrow, take that question with you. Where are you differentiating? What is core to your business? And what are the 80% that are not even specific to your industry? Because these you shouldn't be touching in your transformation. This is where you may want to standardize and cut costs. This was basically a very fast-paced journey through some of the key success factors in digital transformation. You have experienced a whole range of models as I talked you through. Here we see the Unite Navigator. In essence, the Unite models, they cover everything in innovation, digital transformation. For the very first time, you have an integrated set of patterns across everything. So how we do innovation, how we do transformation, from where do we need to attack to what we want to be doing, to how it should be done in terms of culture, organizational structure, and governance. We invite you to go for those Unite models. It's the by far largest and most importantly first integrated library on innovation transformation. Over 100,000 people globally are following those standards and have been downloading those. All of those materials are shared open source. Feel free to get started at digitalleadership.com/unite. We are a consultancy. We have led some of the biggest efforts globally where organizations truly wanted to change, where they wanted to transform and innovate. If you have an interesting case, feel free to speak with us. We are a partnership and are focusing to supporting organizations in their innovation and transformation and the supporting areas of brand experience design, culture and organizational change, as well as IT, strategy and business alignment. I'm on a mission. My mission is to drastically increase the success rates of innovation transformation. Be invited. Feel free to get in touch. You'll find me easily on LinkedIn, of course, or here is the QR code actually for doing so. I look very much forward meeting you, and thank you very much for having me today. Thank you. This was Stefan from Digital Leadership.